I was really surprised that my mom and dad like wanted us to watch it.
Okay, so my mom and dad started watching Game of Thrones like a couple years ago. And then I think they stopped after like they watched a little bit of it, but then they didn't really like it. And then they watched the whole season.
They watched it when it first came out, which was like a decade ago, not a couple years. And they kind of felt morally wrong about it, so they stopped it.
And then a couple years later, after it came out, they started watching it again, and they watched the whole thing. I think they watched it again twice, the whole thing twice, before they introduced it to us. We were at a rental cabin, and I think we had heard about it, but we hadn't seen any of it, so they asked if we wanted to watch it, and we watched the first 2 episodes at this cabin in Red River Gorge. And I don't think any of us really liked it at first.
I liked it. I'd heard about it for a while, and I thought I was really surprised that my mom and dad wanted us to watch it because they're pretty selective about the shows they spend their time watching, and especially for us. So I was like, well, it must be good, because they wouldn't really want us to watch like almost 70 hours if it wasn't.
So after we got back from that trip, we started watching it like 4 nights a week, I'd say. Like 2 episodes every night.
It was more like once a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, most of us liked it. I don't think you didn't really like it at first, did you?
I was kind of shocked when my mom and dad said that they wanted us to watch, like, first of all, a TV show was surprising to me, but then a TV show that was Game of Thrones, which I'd heard about a lot, and I didn't really know what it was about. I watched the first episode with the family, and I really didn't like it, so then I stopped watching it for a while, and then my mom had me, she asked me if I wanted to start watching it with the family. Like, I didn't really want to miss out on, like, they were all talking, I didn't really know what they were talking about. So she found me this like recap video of the first 2 or 3 seasons. So I watched that, and I pretty much got everything, and then I started watching it with them most of the time.
Yeah, you were always saying that you weren't going to watch this episode, and then Mama or someone would talk you into it.
Yeah.
Did you start to like it any better at all, or do you?
Well, there was a lot, like at the beginning, the first season, I think there was a lot of like
Nudity and sexuality.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of unnecessary to the story. I think the violence was necessary, though. It was.
Because it's like part of the world.
It's hard to watch, but I think it was like part of it. Like, you couldn't have had the same show without the violence. One of the parts that I liked about it was almost none of the characters stayed the same. They all made mistakes that usually ended up getting someone hurt or killed.
Like, none of them were perfect.
Yeah, there was a big character development.
Yeah, I really, really appreciated the character development storylines. I think it's really fun for me when that happens in a movie, but over a show, there's just more time to develop like the bad qualities, but then like how they can completely flip it is like, it's just so fascinating to me, and I really, really enjoyed that. It happened to like a lot of the characters, as Eden said, like none of them really stayed the same. And kind of what she said about the violence and then like the nudity and sexual content, those kind of tie together for me, because it's kind of like it could be seen as like unnecessary, like, oh, you didn't need to put like that sex scene in there, or you didn't need to put like his gut spilling out. But it kind of, makes sense in that I like how everything is so amplified, and like the emotions are amplified. So the most dramatic actions kind of bring out the most dramatic emotions and like reactions. So I think everything is just kind of heightened because of like they created this fantasy world where there's dragons, and like everything is just more. Because I think we have a lot of the same like emotions and feelings in real life as they do in Game of Thrones. It's just everything is more toned down because we're not in that world. So I kind of like how it just takes you back to more caveman-y feelings that I think all of us have. Maybe it's just me. Of like anger and like wanting for revenge and justice and like nobility and stuff like that. You just feel a lot with that show and I think a big part of that is because of the nudity and sexuality and violence and stuff. I don't think it's for everyone. Like I don't think everyone needs to like feel these things, but I really see the value in it for myself of just like getting out of comfortable emotions, and I really like to feel like I like to feel sad, and I like to feel like angry, and I do in real life, but I don't know, it's just something different when you see like a main character dying. Like it just really hurts. Yeah, I don't know, that's all I have to say. Do you have anything more to say about what you liked in the show, Rainier?
Not really. I don't really recommend watching it. I mean, it's entertaining, but I don't feel it's so much time spent watching.
I think it was good for our family because like we were watching it together, so we're doing it together. I mean, for the most part, I guess. But there was so much time spent on the conversation, so I guess I could be seen like as a good or bad thing depending on if you want to talk about Game of Thrones. But because I think a lot of good ideas and like just conversation stemmed out of that, actually. I don't know. At least I liked it. But it is a lot of time. Were there any like specific parts or aspects that you really enjoyed about it? Did you like the characters?
I liked watching Jon Snow develop the most, I think, just because like how he started off was, I don't know. Yeah, seeing him become the Lord, that was like one of my favorite parts. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. 7 really liked it. I'll just speak for him, at least from what I could tell. He's trying to get all his friends to watch it. Which I don't know if that's very great. I think he really hates like predictability and like basic storylines. So whenever like a main character died and it was like big plot twist, he actually loved it because it was like so unpredictable. He like
the characters he likes. I asked him. I was like, who are your favorite characters in the show? And the characters that he liked is just like so funny.
Who did he like?
He said he liked Varys and Tyrion. I mean, everyone loves Tyrion, but like it was just funny.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character? Oh yeah. Did I say who your favorite character is? Tormund.
Oh yeah. He's really funny.
I love Tormund. I think my overall favorite character is Tyrion. Oh, okay. We're supposed to talk about the ending though. How it was.
I felt fine with the ending. I didn't watch the second to last episode, and I guess a lot of stuff happened in that episode. But I didn't really feel like I needed to get the story.
I really liked it. I think there was some characters who deserved a lot better of an ending, but overall, I think it was really good. I guess I was supposed to be spoiler free, but I like how in the end, like, no one was evil. It was just like some people were just like blind by their own vision and destiny, and the death was kind of like a mercy, or it was just like not violently done, I guess. I can't do it spoiler free, I guess.
It was just like
I was fine with it.
None of the,
I didn't.
none of the
like
bad.
I think it was rushed. I think it was over rushed. It could have been way longer. But anyways, what?
None of the bad characters were like all bad. They were just like,
Yeah. I
didn't like the ending.
there's some things that I'm like I really didn't like the second to the last episode. Like that was like really shocking and dramatic.
I didn't like the ending, but I kind of knew there wasn't like a way for it to be like a happy ending for everyone. I don't know. That's kind of what the show is about.
I think people are they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it ended that way. But like I think people put too much weight on the ending. Like for me, it's really about like I really like season 7 and like season 6. Like those like were great seasons. It doesn't all have to be like the ending doesn't like have to affect the entire story. I feel like. But I don't know.
Maybe it's because I feel like I wasn't that emotionally invested into the story.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like this. I thought it ended like fine. I don't know.
You're just glad it ended, so we stopped watching it.
Now we can watch movies again on Friday nights instead of a TV show.
I think the whole experience of watching Game of Thrones was just really positive and great. And every time anyone brings it up now, I'll have a lot to say and we can have a conversation.
It is fun to talk about with other people.
There's so many facets and different things to talk about. It's really cool.
Are you guys done?
Oh,
Are you guys done?
yeah, I'm done.